Hello, friend. After an Instagram poll I posted a few days ago asking what the biggest challenge is with implementing new habits, many of you came back saying that it's time constraints. So I got you. In this episode, I'll be talking about 6 powerful habits that you can implement in 20 minutes or less that are free 99. And these aren't your usual like gratitude, drink water, movement type of things. These are actually really effective habits that will improve your physical health and function, mental health, productivity, creativity, and problem solving. So if you are a busy millennial juggling work and home, kids, school, projects, whatever else you got going on, this episode is for you. These habits are easily integrated into any kind of a busy schedule, and they are scalable. So you can start at any level where you're at. You can do very simple, or you can make it as complicated as you want. So grab a pen and paper so you can jot down all the notes. Or if you want to follow me on Instagram, Ivana and Nuzik, I always do recaps after every episode with takeaways and any kind of summaries that you need. So you can just go on there, save everything, and you don't have to remember a thing. So let's dive into our first high impact habit, which is training our focus. In today's world, even though we don't want to admit it, our focus has been dwindling significantly, especially over this last decade. Part of it is just an obscene amount of new information that we're constantly being bombarded with that we just don't know what to do with. Part of it is lifestyle changes and choices that we're making. And obviously things like social media, spending too much time consuming things that are very like quick dopamine and fast turnaround things are going to affect our focus. Now, the thing is, even though we are not intentionally trying to decrease our focus, we are also doing something that is very sneaky that I'm going to talk about today that is affecting our focus that we can actually do a lot more about than we think. And that is multitasking. It's one of those things where we think like, if I'm doing multiple things, I'm either not affected, I'm doing just as good of a job, I'm maybe getting more things done, or I'm just like saving time somehow, when that actually is not the case. We actually cannot multitask. The proper term is task switching. Not that the words matter to you, but what it means is that we actually can't do multiple things at the same time. What we're doing is switching from one task mentally to another task. And then we just spend our time flipping back and forth. And the problem with that is that every time we flip to some kind of other mental activity we need to do, we actually need time to start focusing on that. So when you're constantly switching back and forth, not only are you not fully present and focused on what you're doing, but you're spending a lot of energy trying to juggle multiple things in your head that need to get done, which means that you're actually way more exhausted mentally trying to get everything done, and you're way more prone to mistakes, and it takes you way longer to get the exact same thing done. So if you have found yourself forgetting things that come back to you hours later, or starting things and just kind of leaving things undone, if you find yourself being pulled unexpectedly, almost like a craving to change whatever it is that you're doing to a whole other task that just randomly popped up into your head, or if you just feel like you're having a hard time staying on one task or you're procrastinating a lot, monotasking could be the game changer for you. That'll help you improve your focus. Now, there's a lot of different things that you can do to improve your focus, but I feel like monotasking is one of those like things that we don't think about that is such a high impact, high leverage habit that you will see vast improvements in your day. And I didn't think that I was multitasking in a way that was affecting my life in a negative way, but it actually did. So I'm a pharmacist by daytime. And I work in community pharmacy, which basically means that all day long, I'm just dealing with distractions left, right, and center. Tiny little like mini problems that need to be solved every like minute or two. And I'm so used to doing this that after 12 years of doing this, I can juggle multiple things in my head. I'm like, I need to finish up this order. I need to call this person, and things will come to me hours later, even though I maybe forgot to do something. I'm used to reacting to everything like it's an emergency. Every time there's a phone call, they want to talk to a pharmacist. I'm like, no problem. And I'm like grabbing it right away. And I noticed that when I was at home, I was completely disheveled. I would start doing one thing, let's say in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, I'm put away the dishes. And then I'll be like, oh, I need to go wash that shirt. I need it in 2 days from now, but I need it to dry, blah, blah, blah. And I would walk away from what I'm doing to go into my room and grab a random shirt I needed. I would put that to wash. And I'm like, oh, you know what else I need? And I would like randomly think how I need to pay some bill and I should write that down before I forget it. Basically, long story short, I would spend many days trying to figure out what it is I even got done in that day, because I really don't know what I spent my time on, but I was busy the entire time. If you have found yourself in this position as well at some point, or you find like your day is just like that, where you're constantly doing so many things, monotasking will for sure improve your life. Now, if you're not sure what to do, it sounds simple enough to just focus on one thing and don't do anything else. My suggestion for you is to actually set a timer. 10 minutes, if you want to do 20 minutes, whatever task it is that you're going to start, whether it's cooking a meal, whether it's putting away laundry, or maybe like I do a lot of computer work, so working on some kind of a project, set the timer and observe yourself. I promise you, a few minutes into it, you're going to have some random thought that's going to pop up in your head that you feel like you urgently need to write down or take care of. Don't. Whatever you think, maybe write it down somewhere so you can deal with it in 15 minutes from now. I promise you, being able to just stay on one task for a certain amount of time will help you develop that muscle again, because I'm promising you, most of us our attention span is dwindling, which is affecting not just like our day-to-day life, but like your ability to really just stay focused on any kind of a long-term project things. If you're constantly juggling the day-to-day things, you're going to have a hard time planning ahead and like getting things done. Projects will take you way longer than they need. Starting a home reno, it's been 6 months, you still can't finish it. Could have been done earlier. So monotasking is an incredible skill that you can work on. My second high impact habit for you, my friends, is protein. Protein is not just for the gym bros. It's actually for everybody. And my unique experience having a fitness background, at least for a certain amount of time in my life, has really shown me how much a higher protein diet can make a difference in your day-to-day function, your body strength, your like satiety, so how hungry and the cravings, everything. Once I kind of went back to like my normal way of living, I could tell that not having the protein that I needed was affecting how hungry I was. It was affecting my strength. It was affecting like my ability to even like maintain the muscle that I had. And when we're trying to stay healthy, we're always more worried about like, oh, am I eating the right kind of fats? Am I eating the right kind of carbs? Too much sugar, too much this. I've never had a conversation with anyone that's like, oh, I can't have that. There's too much protein in that meal. Never heard that in my life, because none of us are seriously concerned about how much protein we're having, because we think protein is for people that just want to get jacked and huge, when really it's not. Protein has many different functions besides making you huge and muscular. It actually helps us stay more like energetic. It does take more effort for your body to break down protein, which keeps you full a lot longer. Having more protein in a meal will keep you full a lot longer versus just having more carbs and things like that. It also helps you focus better. Again, the more energy level thing. Protein actually has a function in our body, like it's part of building enzymes, proteins that we need for like bodily functions, hormones, even our immune system. People that go through surgeries or recover from some kind of illnesses are always recommended to have more protein to help them rebuild and keep their body strong, keep their immune function proper. So whatever amount you think you're having right now, try adding one more serving of it. The usual recommended amount is like 0.8 grams per kilogram. In conversion to pounds, that's like somewhere around 0.36 grams per pound. Roughly, for me, at least, it's about like 55 grams per day, which really is a chicken breast and like a cup of Greek yogurt, which is not a lot. But that is only to maintain my bodily function. Like I'm not gaining anything more out of that. And my guess is that most of us probably are in that range, maybe a little bit more. So if you can, so my suggestion for you, you can do the math on how much you think you need, but add one more serving of protein to your day. Whatever protein you prefer. If you like meat, go for it. If you like protein powders, I always make myself a smoothie, throw some vegetables in it like spinach, kale, whatever, celery, whatever things I probably wouldn't eat enough of regularly, throw it in, fruits, scoop of that. That's like easily another 27, 30 grams of protein. Drink it. It's easy to get down. Little things like that will help you stay fuller, keep you more energetic, I promise you. Our fourth high impact habit is super sexy, mobility exercises. I know what you're going to say, this doesn't sound like it's necessary, but our modern lifestyles are incredibly sedentary. And even though it doesn't feel like it, it has taken a huge toll on our body. As someone who stands all day, I thought it would be like a dream come true if I could do my job completely sitting down. But apparently sitting is the new smoking. That is the word around town. And the worst thing you can do for yourself is be sitting for a really long time. Not only is it weakening your back, your hips, your body is meant to move. And even if we are intentionally creating time to go exercise, whether it's like lifting weights or maybe you're biking or walking, we are only really moving our body in a very specific plane. Like if I'm lifting weights, I only lift them in a very particular way on a particular angle. Our body is meant to move in a functional way, which means multiple muscle groups together, doing things that are important for life. You're lifting, you're pushing, you're pulling, you're getting down, you're getting back up. Most of our day does not involve that. So this is why we hit our 30s and all of a sudden we got lower back pain just from existing. We have hip soreness. Our hips are tight. They're just not moving. Flexibility. Don't even ask me to touch my toes. I don't think I can reach them. I don't think can't remember the last time I did touch my toes. And we just laugh it off. We say, oh, that is what happens when you're over 30. This is not normal. I used to be that person. I was like, oh, I hit 30. And I'm sorry that I've ever said that. I was crazy. And this is actually we're not supposed to feel this old at such a young age. Our body is supposed to be moving smooth like butter, and it is not. So this is why mobility exercises, although the most unglamorous thing out there, are crucial. I promise you most of us don't do this. Unless you've had some kind of an injury, probably gone to see a physiotherapist and they assess you. And then instead of giving you massages, which is what I came for, they give you homework and they give you all these like exercises that feel like they're not doing anything. And you're like, I'm going to do it. And you try and then you give up. As soon as your body starts feeling a little bit better, you stop doing them. Those exercises are key to a much smoother and better functioning life. So as someone who has made it my mission to improve my body functionality, if you are someone who's also on the same page, it's like, I do actually want to feel better about my body, incorporate some mobility exercises. If you want to go online, maybe just Google some things, go on YouTube. There's some really wonderful people out there who are creating great content, videos to help you get started. If you're like, I don't have time to be doing this all the time, maybe pick the most painful parts of your body, most likely your back and your hips. Those tend to be the most common ones. Pick a couple of exercises and just do them. Whether it's every day, every couple of days, start doing something. I promise you, once you start doing them regularly, you will start seeing some improvements in how well your body moves, how sore you feel, and what your body's capable of doing. Our third high impact habit is going outside. Now, it may seem like you've heard this many times before, but there's actually a very specific reason why you should create time to go outside and why you should go at a very specific time of day. We used to be more in sync with the sunrise and the sunset, where most of the work that needed to get done was done when the sun was up. And then when the sun sets, you're just kind of unwinding and you're going to bed. Now, in our very modern world, we are more functioning on a 24-hour schedule. Whether you're actually literally working overnight, or you just have work that doesn't end till the sun is down, or you have things that you're doing at home that keeps you staring at screens, many of us don't spend nearly enough time actually seeing the daylight, not spending enough time just being physically outside. And although this may seem like it's not a big deal, as a fellow vampire myself, I didn't think it would be a big deal that I wasn't literally outside. I can see the sunlight. I'm like staring out the window. But our sleep suffers a lot more because we are not dealing with the right exposure of sun. Daylight plays a huge role, if not the most pivotal role, in determining our circadian rhythm, which is our natural signals that tell our body to wake up in the morning and to go to bed at night. And what you may have noticed is that in the summertime, when the sun is up earlier, we actually get up earlier a lot easier and you feel more rested, like it's time to get up. In the wintertime, the same amount of time of sleep feels like you haven't slept at all. You're waking up with the alarm and you feel exhausted, waking up at the same time that you would in the summertime. So not only is the sunlight in the summer helpful for our mood, but also affects our sleep. So besides just going outside, I'm actually going to tell you a very specific protocol, which is a specific way of doing it that's going to vastly improve the quality of your day, your energy levels, and it's going to improve the quality of your sleep. So this protocol, I didn't come up with it. I borrowed it. I am paraphrasing and relaying it to you. This came from Huberman Lab, which is Dr. Andrew Huberman, who does a podcast based on neuroscience and how to optimize your health. So if you want to check that out, you can definitely do that too. I'm going to condense it in just a couple of points. So what he says is, ideally, you want to go outside 30 to 60 minutes after waking up. So as soon as you can in the morning, and you want to spend at least 10 to 20 minutes being outdoors. So if it's really sunny at the time that you're getting up, 10 minutes would be fine. If it's a little bit cloudier, then you want to be 20 minutes or more. And so doing this right after you wake up is signaling your body that it is daylight outside, we are ready for the day. And you will actually feel more energized because all of the signals and the chemicals that need to start rising in your body when you are dealing with daytime will start going up. If the first thing you do is wake up and you're spending time indoors where the light is not as bright, you're staring at screens or whatever, that is not signaling the body that it is time to get up and go. Ideally, you would repeat this again in the evening before the sun sets, another 10, 20 minutes of just being outside, walking around, whatever you want to do, because that signals your body that daylight is slowly dwindling and it is time for us to wind down and get ready for bed. The reason I say ideally this would happen because I feel like even if you are going outside in the evening, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be looking at something that might have artificial light, like even watching TV or just being on your phone for a little bit. So if you can, do it twice a day and then make sure to keep your lights low for the second part of the day. If nothing, try to do it first thing in the morning. Create a little bit of extra time, go for a quick walk, even just be outside, sit on your porch or whatever, wherever you are. This is going to help you kind of reset that circadian rhythm a little bit better. It's going to help you feel more energized throughout the day, and it's going to help you reset that clock so you become a little bit better at kind of naturally falling into that rhythm where you're going to bed at a certain time and then getting up at a certain time as well. Our next high impact habit has to do with sleep, and it's taking naps. Now, in an ideal world, we would be getting that 7 to 9 hours of recommended sleep every single night. And I've definitely tried, and many of the times when I hear that recommendation, I think to myself, thank you, Sherlock. I just don't know how to do math. I'm actually intentionally trying not to sleep the full amount, and I prefer feeling like garbage most of the day. Although that recommendation is obviously the ideal, the gold standard, many of us find ourselves not always being able to do that. You might be going through a stressful time in your life where the demands on your time are going to be high. Your ability to even get enough sleep is going to be limited. Getting quality sleep might be a whole other problem. Maybe you have kids that are waking you up. Maybe you're just dealing with things in your life that make it difficult for you to prioritize sleep the way that you need, while still being able to function somewhat throughout the day with coffee, with just powering through it. Many of us find ourselves having to remedy the after effects of not being able to do the ideal gold standard job. So the naps are actually for all of you and me as well who deal with this. I can't do anything once I wake up and I feel like garbage. Like, let's fix this now. So naps are the key to helping you feel a little bit more replenished. Now, for those of you that have taken naps, you will probably tell me that it doesn't work for you. It actually makes you more tired. You have trouble sleeping at night. The key is short naps, power naps, 20 minutes or less. The reason why is it has a lot to do with our sleep cycle. Each sleep cycle is about 45 minutes, and then we have multiple of those cycles per night. So depending on when you wake up, you might feel more restful or less restful. And when we have those naps, we go to bed and we just let our body wake us up whenever it feels like it's ready. Those naps wind up being way too long. You got the sleep you needed, but it also messes you up for later. It also winds up being at a time where like you're kind of in the middle of a sleep cycle. If you wake up an hour after sleeping, you're already in a second sleep cycle, which is going to make you feel groggy and tired. And it's going to take you a while to kind of feel awake again. So that's why those naps are not it. You need to set an alarm to have a nap. So the suggestion I have for you is actually when you are feeling tired, if you can, lie down, set a timer for 20 minutes and see if you can have a nap. You actually can get just as a restful sleep of 17 to 20 minutes of a nap that would be incredibly refreshing that you probably haven't even thought about. So that's what I do. I usually set it to 25 just in case I can't fall asleep right away. But they are incredibly helpful. They buy you a little bit more time. You feel a little bit more rejuvenated. And it also like helps to replenish, kind of top up the sleep that you didn't get at night. For those of you that are passionately going to tell me how I can't nap, I tried, but I can't nap, I have a second option for you. It's called NSDR, which is non-sleep deep rest. Another version of it is called Yoga Nidra, which is lying down yoga. If you've ever done yoga, there's that pose, Savasana or whatever it's called, where you lie down and you just like relax. It's kind of like that, but it also has a guided script that goes along with it. So the non-NSDR is a guided awareness body scan that you can go through. You can either sit up or you can lie down, and you can just listen to a script of someone talking to you and saying like, bring awareness to how your head is touching the pillow, like that type of stuff. And you do that for 15, 20 minutes. You're not going to be asleep while this is going on. You're going to be awake, but you're going to be kind of in that like, I'm almost falling asleep kind of trance, especially as you're spending more minutes into doing this. You don't have to be completely asleep to feel rested. It might relax you so you can actually have a nap, but even doing that is going to help you feel a little bit more refreshed and a little bit more revitalized to kind of top up, again, the night of not being able to sleep enough. So go on Spotify, type in Yoga Nidra, Nidra, or just go on YouTube, look up some Yoga Nidra scripts, pick a short one, 10, 15 minutes, doesn't have to be long, and try it out. Can be in the middle of the day, can be in the evening, it doesn't matter. It helps you relax and kind of in like a pinch helps you restore your energy levels. So ideally the gold standard would be to improve the quality and length of our sleep. But in the meantime, you can improve how you're functioning throughout the day by doing these little power naps. Our last high impact habit is solitude. Now, this is actually an incredibly rare experience in our modern lives. And if I had to ask you, when was the last time that you felt actually bored? Like you just didn't know what to do? You probably can't remember. I'll probably say it was when I was in high school during summer break because I didn't have a job and you're just kind of like trying to figure out what to do with yourself. You watched all the shows you wanted to watch and now you're like, I don't know what to do. I can tell you that since then, I don't think I've ever just like not known what to do with myself. We do have more obligations on our plate now than we did when we were younger, obviously, but we also have a lot of distractions really close to us. Whenever you are feeling slightly not entertained by something, we're reaching for our phones to do something. Sometimes just to check random things. Sometimes when we're bored, we'll just watch TV, watch a show we don't even like, just like to pass the time. We're constantly distracting ourselves mentally from everything that needs our attention. So when I say solitude, I mean just don't do anything. You can meditate if you like, if that's something that you feel is going to help you in that way. But by solitude, I just mean be bored. Don't do anything. Sit there and just stare off into the abyss. It seems dumb, and difficult actually, but it helps us with creativity. I don't mean artistic creativity, like you're going to start writing poetry and songs. Creativity means solving problems in a new way. Whatever problems you might have, whatever feels like you just don't know what to do with this, like this kind of keeping you stuck, spending some time just thinking about it without trying to run away from the thoughts that are coming will help you get better at problem solving, get better at finding different solutions. And it's also going to help you connect with yourself a little bit more. There's all kinds of things that go through our mind, feelings, the ways in which we're trying to make sense of our world, and we don't really spend enough time connecting with ourselves and trying to figure out what it is that we're thinking and feeling. So spending 10 minutes a day just staring off into the abyss is going to be helpful in training yourself to just let that kind of go. Whatever thoughts come out of that, you can write them down if you want to journal, but just be bored for a little bit and see where it takes you. Okay, so these were the 6 high impact habits that I have for you today that can be done in 20 minutes or less, can fit into any busy schedule, and will improve the quality of your day and are free 99. So a quick recap, because there was a lot of information that I talked about today. Our first high impact habit was training our focus. I mentioned monotasking, and I suggested maybe put a timer on whatever it is that you want to work on and only focus on that. Do not get pulled away to anything else. Our second one was protein, adding more protein to your life. 1 serving extra per day on top of whatever it is you're doing will help you feel more full, help you function better, be more energized, and it's just overall going to be helping your body function as well as it can function. My third one was mobility exercises. Although not the sexiest of things to do, our body does need to move, and it needs to move in functional ways. So I suggested maybe just starting with like a couple of hip flexor exercises, hip strengthening exercises, maybe something for your back if that is the biggest source of your discomfort. Go online, maybe YouTube or whatever, just a couple of things that you can start with, or maybe see a physiotherapist and have them suggest something for you if you have the coverage and time to go do that. My next one was go outside. The takeaway here was to ideally go outside 30 to 60 minutes after waking up in the morning, spending at least 10 to 20 minutes outside, being in the sunlight, and if possible, repeating the same thing as it gets closer to the evening time before the sun sets to optimally reset your circadian rhythm so that you are getting better sleep at night and feeling more functional and energized throughout the day. My next one was also connected to sleep. It is taking power naps. 20 minutes or less can be incredibly refreshing. If you cannot nap, your other option was to do NSDR, which is non-sleep deep rest. There are scripts online that you can look up, or even like Spotify. In like 20 minutes or so, it's lying down and just doing a body scan and bringing awareness to your body while not being completely asleep. This can also be incredibly energizing and refreshing. And it's for all of you out there who do want to benefit from a nap but just can't seem to actually have a nap. My last one was solitude. To increase our creativity, problem solving, and just connected with ourselves, spend 10 minutes or more if you want being bored. Don't do anything, stare off into the abyss and see what pops up into your head. So some of these you might have already been doing in some way, or you feel like maybe one of them is going to be more beneficial than another. Start with one of them, that's fine, and see how far you get. I want to remind you that it's not about doing things perfectly or doing them every single day in order to benefit from it. It's just about doing a little bit more than what you're already doing. And as soon as you start seeing some benefits from it, because they're so easy to do and because they're going to actually see some tangible changes, you'll probably be interested in doing more of it, or at least keeping up with it. So I know I'll be adding more of these things on, especially the mobility training one. I know my body is a little too squeaky for my age and I'm not happy with it. So if you are interested, I'm actually thinking about doing like a challenge. If anybody wants to join me just for accountability, let me know. I'll create like a little group and we can just like check in daily for any of these actually if you want. So That's probably one of the things coming up in the next few weeks or so. So thanks for tuning into this episode. I hope you found it really helpful. I hope there's some stuff in it that you want to try. And please let me know how far you're getting with this. I'd love to hear from you guys. Have a good day. Bye.